Tito was a boy who had nonverbal autism. He had severe social issues and could not talk to anyone. That left him socially isolated, unable to live a normal life. This is what 24 million nonverbal autistic people experience when they do not know and cannot learn the words just to be able to speak. This poses a real problem, not just for them, but also for their families. So I intend to help. My name is Vikram. I'm in 7th grade, and this is the My Automated Communication Companion. The MACC is a personalized wearable system that will help people learn to speak by teaching them the words of what's in front of them. So the system has two machine learning algorithms. The first identifies objects, and the second recognizes speech. Here's a demo. So,
laptop, laptop, laptop. Say laptop. Not quite. Laptop, laptop, laptop. Say laptop.
No.
Not quite. Laptop, laptop, laptop. Say laptop.
Laptop.
Good job.
So, what just happened? Well, you just saw the camera take a picture of what was in front of me. Then it sent that image to the Raspberry Pi, where the Raspberry Pi used a deep learning neural network to identify the object in front of me. Then it took the name of that object and outputted it on the speaker, and it prompted me to say that word. And after that, a microphone started recording, and I presumably said that word. To make sure that I did, the microphone stopped recording, and it sent that audio to the Raspberry Pi, where the Raspberry Pi used another deep learning neural network to recognize my speech. Finally, it compared what the object that I saw to what I said. If I said it right, then it congratulated me and was ready for the next input. If I was incorrect, then it gave me 2 more tries before moving on. Now, I've gotten a lot of feedback about my invention from many different people. When I met with Dr. Helen Tager-Flusberg, the world's leading expert on autism from Boston University, she told me that this system allows children to map words to objects based on what they're looking at, which today is very hard to do. She also told me that there aren't many other products out there that can do what my product does. The only one that comes close doesn't have a camera to give context for what they're looking at or what they're interested in. This means that they need joint eye contact, which doesn't usually happen because the nonverbal autistic person is usually looking around, not just in one place. My invention uses the gaze of the user so that wherever they are looking, it'll identify that object. There's another system out there that uses the system as a tool to communicate, which mine also accomplishes, but those cost around $500. Though mine can do all of those things, mine is significantly cheaper. As you can see here, each item averages to around $7, plus a small mini computer, which is the Raspberry Pi. The total cost for all components is around $63, which is fairly cheap considering that when it's mass produced, that price will go down. Now, the MACC can accomplish this all today, but what about in the future? Well, the system will get smarter over time as we collect more data from our users. And facial recognition and identification of customizable objects is a work in progress. Also, right now, it can only identify objects, but soon we're going to make it identify actions so that the user can have both the noun and the verb so that they can formulate full sentences. As Dr. Helen Tager-Flusberg says, this is the future of autism technology, so that kids like Tito will be able to live a better life. Thank you.
Wow, nice job, Vikram.
Yeah, very impressive demonstration. My question to you is, what was the effort behind this, machine learning part? Did you work on it on yourself, or you also get some help from your mentors or collaborators?
There was a YouTube video sort of explaining how to set up the whole machine learning algorithm, but that only explains some of it, just like how to identify the objects. I had to put in the speaking and the speech recognition, so most of it was me. But then there was some help from other people and the YouTube video. So.
Vikram, this is an excellent presentation. There's a few things that I want to say. I'm really glad that you had an expert on autism in your presentation. I would encourage you to talk to as many experts as you can, and there are many of them, and I think they'll be interested to hear about your ideas. And if you can work in more experts into your presentation, I think that would be excellent. I also have two questions for you. The first question I have is, we saw how the device was accurately able to identify the laptop. My question is, how accurate is it at other objects? Does it ever get objects wrong? And then my other question is, I was wondering if you thought at all about working a game component into this where you get points for getting it right. It seems to me like that could be something that might really appeal, in particular to younger kids.
So it is pretty good at identifying other objects. It can identify 90 objects, and you can download more things that can train the network so that it can identify many more. And it is pretty good at identifying other objects. You can set it so that it'll only repeat the object if it is confident, if it's 60%, has a 60% confidence rate. And as for the game part, I was not thinking of that, but that is a really good idea, as yes, this project does appeal to more younger people, and yeah, that would be a great idea.
What were the design? What were the considerations that went into putting it in the hat that you have versus other places?
So I thought of the hat because having a hat is generally like more accepted, or like not accepted, but like it's more, people are more used to it. So if I just walk around with a hat, they're like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And also a hat is more comfortable, whereas with glasses, it's like too many distractions. Like your sensory overloads are around here, plus you have that like frame, and it's just a little too much. And for the hat, it also like, it includes the microphone here and the Raspberry Pi in the back and the speakers and the camera. So it's just a pretty good place to keep it.
I really love the anecdote you used to open it up. I think it really helps set the scene. The idea of being able to learn in the real world as in your daily life, I think is really appealing. And I think it just in the future, it might be cool to think about maybe trying to apply this for young kids trying to learn English or learn any language in addition to its current use now, which is already really amazing.